Yep, I'm pretty pumped to do the same. It's going to be awesome.
Alright, so we've already got a game set up already. It's going to be Cast Aside versus Team Singularity Red. And they've already got their drafting started, so let me look on over into that main screen and see how everything's going with them. So, okay, for some reason, that decided to pick up the wrong window. So that's great. 1 second. XSplit has been just not my best friend lately. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's been killing you a little bit.
It's been ruining me. Alright. Alright. Let's try this again. There we go. Last time I did the screen preview and it showed perfectly. This time it decided to pick up just a random... A good thing it was just a blank Google window, because who knows what could have been on there. Anyway, we've got the draft going on already. We can see that Cast Aside was second pick, so they had a Tyrael ban, and Singularity Red had Kael'thas banned, and Sylvanas first picked.
Yeah, so first pick Sylvanas on Blackheart's Bay, I don't think is any sort of surprise there. It's nice to be able to take down structures really quickly and with ease with Sylvanas so that you don't waste any of those shots from Blackheart's barrage.
Yeah, you're right, and there's just you can just have that pushing power in any lane you really want to. You can just, if you want to push down that bot lane because it's so far removed, it's going to be so easy for Sylvanas to really take advantage of that. Then we see Cast Aside picking up the Jaina, and probably going to be another range, probably a Vala is what we normally see at this point. But it could be something like a Warrior as well. We've been seeing a couple of just Warrior picks very, very early on just to make sure that they get the right Warrior they want for the composition that they're going for.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're right on the money with Vala, especially will be picked early on. I feel like we see those women wearing hoods really often, the Sylvanas, Jaina, Vala trio. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think of the Tyrael ban from Cast Aside?
Oh my god, I've never noticed that before. I find it really weird considering their name is Cast Aside.
I know, right? That's what I was wondering.
But Tyrael is absolutely huge in the meta right now in Europe, and he's one of the biggest, he's one of the best off tanks to have. If you get a Tyrael, you can get up with a double tank meta, and all of a sudden now you're going to have a really huge team to go against. So they're trying to block out, it seems like, from Singularity Red, being able to get Jaina and a Tyrael, because that leads them into being able to pick up a second tank later on, and that's just a huge, huge wall to go to kind of get over.
Right, you are. Now, Cast Aside did pick up Brightwing, and there's a little bit of contention with Brightwing lately because there's concern that her healing is a bit maybe bugged.
Yeah, she has a slight bug with her healing. She heals herself with her passive trait twice as much as she's supposed to. So it's a bit scary to deal with because in lane she's an absolute beast now with promote as well as just her global presence. So it's not a big enough bug that they really want to ban her. I don't think most tournaments have banned her yet. So it's okay to just see the Brightwing show up, but at the same time, you know, just got to keep it in your mind that now Brightwing is a little bit more of a formidable force. Singularity Red, though, picking up Anubarak and Muradin.
So even without the Tyrael, they're still going to go with a double tank, and I think Anubarak and Muradin is going to be really scary for Cast Aside because that is a lot of stuns to have to deal with, both from both of the tanks.
Yeah, and that's not only that, but that's just a massive wall that Sylvanas can stand behind and just wail away. Get it? Wail away.
Oh, no, it's begun.
It has begun. On come the puns. Anyway, but yeah, so this is a very, very big meta right now just because of how many of the damages kind of have to do range damage and how many of the supports have kind of been nerfed lately. Getting just the health pool as a way to keep your team alive more so than actually getting all of the healing to keep your team alive, especially with Healing Ward now being away. We now have to worry about making sure that your team has enough health. So a lot of people are going for these double warrior compositions, and Anubarak and Muradin is nothing to shake a stick at. The beetle change on Anubarak is massive, and Muradin with so many stuns is just so scary, especially against an Illidan.
Yeah, and he was buffed in the last patch as well. Both of those tanks were, so definitely nothing to sneeze at. And like you mentioned before, Muradin is often picked as a counter to Illidan directly, which is who Cast Aside went ahead and picked to go into that. So they must at least still be feeling comfortable and confident with that pick, despite the fact that Singularity already has a Muradin. And they did end up following up with the Vala as well, so really rounding out their damage, and they should be looking to pick up possibly a tank in their last pick.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what tank they're going to pick up, but Singularity Red right now has to pick up a support. It could either be an Uther or maybe even a Rhaegar. I don't think we're going to be seeing a Lily anytime soon, and I think or a Malf. Oh, you know, it's a Malfurion.
It could be Malf.
It's Malf. It's Malf. It's gotta be Malf.
Yeah,
Tychus.
Tranquility
Whoa.
is so good. I know, right?
Whoa. 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 I haven't seen Tychus in a long time.
I mean, a lot of people really like to take Laser Drill versus an Illidan, and now they've got the Drill and the Muradin, and I'm wondering if Casticide's like, maybe we shouldn't have done this, but I don't know, and I think you will definitely see the support, as you mentioned. I would agree with the Malfurion that they could be going for Stun City, I don't know, with an Uther, but I do really like Tranquility versus Illidan. I feel like you can really have no problem healing a group even with a metamorphosized Illidan standing on top of you when you've got that.
Well, interestingly enough is that we have... Oh, hold on one second, I just lost my draft. We have that Illidan sitting there with the Tychus and the Muradin now. I have to imagine... Oh, it's going to be Malfurion. Awesome. I have to imagine this Illidan isn't going to be the metamorphosis into the middle of the enemy team and just start, like, destroying everybody from the backline type of Illidan. He's probably going to be more of a frontline Illidan with... playing with Giant Killer and playing with a lot of shields and just kind of just slowly whittling away the tanks, because I don't really think that he can really get into the backline confidently and be okay. Now, Casticide has to pick up a warrior right now. I don't even know who they could go for other than, I guess ETC is their best answer.
Yeah, I would agree with the ETC for sure, and would most likely see the stage dive from that. In the very least, he'd be able to stage dive in, slow them down, maybe get into the back line a little bit. You don't think that they'll go for the second support and then just Illidan tank on top of that, huh?
I don't really think so. I don't think that would really work out so well, but... It's a really difficult time for them right now. Hold on one second. We just got the lobby set up, so let me just make sure I have. Can you do me a favor? And oh, you did shoot me your friend code. I'm an idiot. All right. One sec. Let me get you into this lobby so we can all be friends and watch this game together.
Awesome.
And we'll get into this game very shortly. But yeah, this is going to be definitely an uphill battle here for our friends over at Team Singularity, I think. Sorry, Casticide. Casticide's going to have just a really difficult spot trying to deal with all of both those warriors, the Sylvanas, and I guess Tychus as well. But Tychus is weird because normally with the double warrior you want to have, you know, those super ranged heroes, but Tychus is a very kind of up close and personal hero, unless I guess he's going for some sort of grenade build.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Casticide definitely has the upper hand in terms of damage, but it's a problem of keeping all of that alive when everyone is getting stunned from Singularity.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, what's going to be... It's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible. The reason why Illidan is going to be so good, because remember, we're playing on Blackheart's Bay. Blackheart's Bay is one of those maps where you have to remember that even though team fights are pretty big in it, the most part you actually want to be focusing in on actually getting all of the... you want to be focusing in on getting all of the mercenary camps done as well. So you get a small lead in the beginning of the game, then you start getting all the mercenary camps, and bim bam boom, you start waterfalling the entire map into your favor. So that's where it's going to be, I think, better for them in terms of getting that Illidan just to be able to mercenary camp, and then in the team fights he's going to be a little bit more of an issue, liability, but as long as they can win the first couple of team fights, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, Illidan is so good at being able to merc by himself. Like you said, Brightwing could possibly even take Bribe, so that's another way for them to pick up mercenary camps really fast and get those doubloons. And then you always want to have somebody who can kind of run around and get those small camps pretty easily, which they definitely have available to them as well. And Singularity, just looking right at them, is not as clear what they will be using to try to do that. So you're definitely right. In terms of PvE, it's definitely possible for Casticide to get ahead there and then maybe press their advantage once they have that by taking down structures pretty quickly, which they can do with a Jaina.
Well, so that's a really interesting point then, is that they've got a Brightwing and they've got an ETC. and they're trying to like kind of push down all these structures. Do you think we're going to be seeing a stage dive instead of mosh pit?
I bet we do. I don't know if you'd want to mosh pit into frag grenade and the stuns from Murden and stuns from Anubarak. It's
possible though. It's definitely possible to go for like the stage to mosh pit because Gillyweed, there's this thing. This thing that happens at level 20, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to this entire game. And it's called Tour Bus.
You're talking about the Tour Bus.
Tour Bus, yeah. I love Tour Bus. It is the best thing that's ever happened to ETC. It's just so fun. It's so frustrating to play against, too. But that's what I'm going to be really, really curious about, is just how they're going to be playing all of these little nuances in the next map. Because this is best of 1. This is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really important thing to know, is that there's no sort of best of 3. You got to go more standard because you don't have that buffer game of trying something crazy to throw your opponents off.
So we'll have to see how everything's going to work out here. It looks like everybody's trying to share out the link for the stream. So guys, of course, you can do that as well. Tell all your friends to go watch some twitch.tv/GoSuGamers. This is, of course, the GoSu Gamers Enter the Storm Cup number 2, qualifier number 10. Some other number. And this all leads up into the Enter the Storm Cup for and I believe 3 weekends. There's 2 more qualifiers after this one. And then the team from this one that wins it all gets to go on into that cup, which is worth, I believe, $5,000. So that's pretty awesome. Game number 1 starting right now.
That's a pretty good prize pool there. You mentioned $5,000. That's a hefty amount. So all of these teams, you said there will be a couple more qualifiers, so there'll be 12 teams going through then?
Yes, there's going to be 12 teams in total, I believe, going through, and I think there's 4 invitationals that go through as well. I might be incorrect on that. But we've got a lot of really good teams in this qualifier. We've got Do Your Best going to be playing as well. We've got SK Gaming playing. There was a bunch of awesome EU teams. We're actually following this game because the winner of this goes up against SK Gaming.
Oof, that could be a tall order to have to deal with.
Why we're watching this match, because I'm excited to see where that's going to go. But guys, we have the game loaded up. Let's take a look into the main screen. We've got Cast Aside spawning over here on the left-hand side. In the blue, we've got Glucosa. On the right wing, we've got Coco Brown on Jaina. Nomi is on ETC, Rulum on the Vala, and down here we've got Freezer on the Illidan.
And in the red is Singularity Red. That's easy with Nexo00 playing Murden, North Lane on Tychus. They are right on top of each other. Exodus playing Malfury and Ego Trippin on the Anubarak. And down in the bottom is Sylvanas. And who is playing Sylvanas? Gnarly.
Oh my god, I just realized I don't have Ollie's observation thing on today. I forgot because I had to format my computer last night to put it on. Oh no. So this first game, we're going to be guessing. We're going to be guessing quite a bit. Gilly, you're going to be the one who tells us what all the talents are.
Got it. It's fine. I got this.
Or at least like the ones that are interesting.
Well, Brightwing did pick up Bribe, so that's the first thing I wanted to note for sure, is we will be having her picking up Merc camps, maybe even stealing them if possible.
And that's going to be one of those just really, really easy things, especially if she wants to go and be really aggressive and take the enemy's siege camps later on. But it has been 50 seconds. The chests have spawned. 5 coins now up for grabs in the top lane and 5 coins in the bot lane. Who's going to get him? It looks like Vala taking heavy hits. Going to possibly go down. That's first blood.
That's first blood, but they did get all of those coins, and now Freezer and Glucosa are on the bottom chest as well. So it's possible Cast Aside are going to get all of the coins from this first phase.
Yeah, definitely taking advantage of the fact that the rest of the team here for Singularity Red was in the top lane, trying to get, it looked like a little bit of, I guess, a pushing advantage in the top lane. And that allowed them to just kind of run in really quickly, grab all the chests, and evacuate as soon as possible. Cost Vala her life, but 10 coins is definitely a nice thing to have at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and Brightwing was able to teleport down immediately to take advantage of that too, helping Illidan secure those coins. And actually now Freezer is going to be turning in from there while Brightwing continues to lane. She is such a beast in lane.
Yeah, especially with that little bit of extra healing that's possibly not supposed to be going to her. She's She's able to sustain very, very well, and not only that, but her auto attack is one of the strongest auto attacks, I think, in the early stages of the game. She's so good at being able to just push people away.
Yeah, and you can Arcane Flare as well. You can Polymorph if they get too close to you. Now, Nomi is taking some damage up top. They're trying to keep a hold of this Vision Tower, and they will be able to do so thanks to Coco Brown coming up.
Yeah, and that's going to be really, really nice for them to just be able to kind of just go back and forth between both of these teams. Right now, they're scared. They don't know if their team composition is going to be able to hold really well against the enemy team. But so far, they're holding their own. They're actually at a little bit of an advantage.
They do have a slight experience lead, although Sylvanas is dealing quite a bit of damage to those bottom turrets versus Brightwing. But now Illidan already murking is picking up those Siege Giants, also grabbing some coins. And so that's going to help relieve some of the pressure, as is the promote that Brightwing has.
Yeah, and that's going to be really, really nice. As soon as they get any type of map pressure, they can just go run over and steal those Siege Giants later on, as I was saying before. And that potentially is going to work really well, because not only that, but it looks like she's also picked up Promote. So she's going to be dominating this bot lane, and as soon as anything needs to happen anywhere else on the map, she can just immediately teleport there.
Looking at some more of the talents, it looks like Vala is going to be going for the Rancor build. So going for more of a single target build, which is something we often see versus those two tank compositions. It's a little more of an auto attack, single target focus. ETC is turning in, and this will be the first turn in of the game, going to Cast Aside.
And that's going to be just a little bit more of that experience lead that they need to get. They need to make sure that they're sitting in a really, really huge lead at this point of the game. Because if they can start snowballing all of this, it's going to be a really good, quick victory for them. But if they can't, then it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle later on with those, as those numbers start to turn in the favor of those warriors.
Now Furion went down in the bottom lane, and now they have that experience lead with those level 7 talents. So this means that they're feeling very confident. They're going to use Brightwing's Bribe already to pick up these bottom bruisers early on. And the Singularity Reds got to try to get up to 7 before we're gonna see them try to get into an engagement. But there is one happening on top, and Tychus will be the one to go down.
Oh, but Sylvana's trying to get away. She's not going to be able to. Oh man, I was watching the action in the bot lane. It's a shame that Tychus went down in the top lane though. And that's just a little bit more of that experience going on over to Cast Aside. They're playing this game so spectacularly right now.
Yeah, they are. Vala almost getting caught out by a Nubarak, but was able to survive there on top. And now both teams have their level 7 talents. It looks like a Nubarak is going for the Beetle build. So those Beetles are going to be dealing a lot of damage, but it is kind of mana intensive. So that's something that you'll really have to be watching out for.
Yeah, not only that, but the Beetles actually really also help out with getting all those mercenary camps for himself. And that's going to be able to let them start fighting off this mercenary. It looks like there is going to be a Muradin death here in the mid lane as the turret has gone down. Anubarak was starting to do those bruisers, but it looks like he had to break off in order to see if he could possibly help out, but it's just a little bit too late. Oh, but Jaina now getting engaged upon. Here comes Tychus trying to do as much damage as possible. He did pop his first aid very early in order to try and survive this, but Freezer going to come in from the back line. That Illidan is just nothing to be ashamed of, being afraid about. He is going absolutely ham on everybody. Exodus now trying to get away, gonna throw down the entangling root and ward off Golem.
Man, that was a good route, as he would have gone down there. There's lots of very close calls, like Sylvanas almost went down to Brightwing in the bottom lane as well, but survived with basically one hit left. It's a scary thought to know you're going against a support and almost dying there in 1v1 situation.
They get another turn in, and now they've got the heroics as well. They're probably sitting in a really nice spot. Let's take a quick look at their heroics. Blink Heal is going to be the actual one that I'm going to be interested in, as well as Mosh Pit. So they're not going to be going for that stage dive, because they're going for the Turbus.
Oh yes, they've even got Rain of Vengeance on top of that, so lots of stun potential. Metamorphosis too, to be able to deal a lot of damage on top of that, with the Water Elemental to finish it out.
Oh, and they are going so incredibly hard on the bot lane as well. They've got the top fort already down. They've now going straight for this bot fort, and now that means that the next set of cannonballs are going to start hitting those keeps. That's going to be a little bit scary for our friends in red, because they don't have a lot to really go with right now. They don't have the heroics. It's about to be level 12 to level 9.
Ooh, that's a huge level differential to try to overcome. We see them going kind of just pushing up mid. They're trying to get experience from these towers so that they can at least go back and defend with their heroics, but already they're focusing on this keep. Cast Aside is going to take down this keep at this point.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to get this keep, but maybe that this is the trade that they need to get in order to get those heroics in time to start being able to take maybe 1 or 2 of these team fights. It's going to be a little bit scary, though, because 13 is on the cusp here for Casticide, and it's going to be very difficult to start fighting a team that's a talent tier up as well as they've already had their heroics.
Well, Casticide is once again turning in and should have enough. Yep, once again, there goes the turn in. They have a big minion push against them on top that is going to start dealing some damage to this fort, but they don't seem super concerned. They're just now going up to defend, and I think that was the right choice because they were able to get a very early keep and already almost have their level 13 abilities, or talents.
Yeah, and again, those bruisers didn't really do that much. They got the towers down, but look, there's not a single fort down, and yet already we're starting to see keep damage going down here on Singularity Red. They're having a little bit of an issue trying to figure out what are the best fights they really need to start taking. They've got a 4-man bot lane. Are they going to be able to do anything to this bot lane? Oh no, the turrets and gate are still up.
Yeah, they've got quite a push. They do have Sylvanas though, which is really good. They did pick up their heroic abilities too. They've got the Odin, Locust Swarm, Avatar, Wailing Arrow for the Sylvanas, and there's the Tranquility too. But meanwhile, while they're pushing on bot, up top, Casticide has picked up the boss and are going to help support it going straight toward that keep.
This is going to be a really scary fight here, Gilly. They've got to get back immediately because already the rest of Casticide is already taking down the forts, or sorry, the gate and the towers. Here comes the Grave Golem, completely unscathed. This is a lot of damage that they're going to have to chew through.
Oh yeah, and here it comes. He's already taken down the turrets. He's going towards the fort. It looks like Casticide wants to go with this, and there is the mosh pit. Exodus taking so much damage, instantly goes down, as does Anubarak. Now Odin's just trying to get away as Northlane's taking a ton of damage, but that was a great body block from Freezer. Nexo actually has to dwarf toss into the base just to survive. That golem still has most of its health and has taken down the keep now. Will be taking on this tower and working toward core.
Yeah, I think this is possibly going to be game here. I don't think there's really that much that Casticide can do to really lose at this point. The Grave Golem far too healthy. Everybody's down except for Muradin on the enemy team. They're going to be coming up, but a little bit too late. Looks like Casticide is going to take game number 1.
Holy cow, what a quick game. They pushed that advantage so hard, grabbed that boss, and then just went for it, and that was a very, very decisive win.
Gilly, you could almost say that their opponents were Casticide.
Oh, could you say that?
You could say that. They didn't really. The issue was, I think, that just they let Casticide get that early game, and that was kind of what I was saying before. Is that was Casticide's advantage? They take the early game, they snowball the rest of it by just running around getting all the mercenary camps in the world, and apparently they also added the added-in bonus of having a Brightwing with promote and being able to just kind of push down all of those lanes really, really quickly. And with getting all the coins from all the mercenary camps, getting all the coins from all of the chests as well, especially in that little beginning spat where a lot of Team Singularity Red was sitting up in the top lane, the chest spawn, Casticide immediately took all those 5 coins and just vacated the premise. That was a huge, huge loss there, especially because that early game was going to be so pivotal for them.
Yeah, they got all 10 coins right off the beginning. Yeah, they lost Avala, but they were even able to pick up the coin from that kill as well, sacrificing 0 coins in that. What I was really surprised by and kind of tickled by was that Brightwing was able, with a promote, to deal with the Sylvanas in lane 1v1, and that's just crazy. She's a support. That shouldn't be happening, but that's really cool to see.
All right, so we're going to run to a quick commercial break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going on into the next game, which is going to be Casticide versus SK Gaming, and that's going to be so incredibly excited. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with that game. I'm Sham2. Join us as Gillyweed.